Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. I'm your host, PattSun, and today we're going to be taking a look at r/infidelity, where we see an excellent example of karmic justice. Let's begin. The signs were there, but I was young and naive to see them. Posted by Reddit user 1559209.
This story takes place 4 years. At the time I was 18 and ex-girlfriend was also 18, let's call her Sarah. We're freshmen in a community college. We've known each other since high school, and we started dating before our freshman year in college has started. She was the complete package. Blonde hair, blue eyes and curvy body. The downside for me at the time was that she was a pothead. The only rules I had with her was not smoke around me, due to her being my first girlfriend that smoked weed on a weekly basis. Things were going well, we committed great, hardly ever no arguments, the sex was great, but when we would go hang out with her friends, she was somewhat acted distant towards me. That causes a few arguments with each other. Eventually her friends were told by her that we were dating and everything was normal. This probably doesn't seem like a big deal, but when me and Sarah would go out on dates, she would never post me on social media, not even for New Year's or Valentine's Day. On her 18th birthday, she moved out of her foster parents' house and got her own apartment by the community college we went to, and I was there 3 to 5 days a week. After dating for 7 months, 1 week after Valentine's Day, she up and felt and basically ghosted everyone for a week. No one could get in touch with her. Then she went to her place and things seemed normal. Then a few days later, she again disappeared. This time for about 2 weeks. This was when my health started to decline. I wasn't eating well, was stressing and worrying if she was okay. Eventually she did return, but she was distant and cold towards me. She would leave the living room when someone called her. There was no physical contact whatsoever or any affection at all. So we decided to take a break. A week later we got back together and she looked happy with me again. Then on March 13th, right before COVID, she was again acting cold. She wasn't even looking at me. She left for McDonald's with her friend while I stayed behind at her place with her father. When she left the complex, she sent me a breakup text. I started bawling, and her father actually felt sorry for me. He didn't like how she was treating me for the past month up to that point. 2 days later, through my friends, I found out that she already had another man, and this news gave panic attacks while I was driving on the freeway and I became an alcoholic. I was in pain and hurt for 2 years until I met my fiancé in the summer of 2022. We're getting married this September, and for my ex Sarah, the man she cheated on me with, his place burned down. Sarah lost her apartment, was basically homeless, her man got her hooked on pills, and Sarah eventually left him for another guy who became her baby daddy who she isn't with anymore. I don't know if that's karma or not. What y'all think?
You know, OP, cheaters doesn't always get their karma, but when they do, it is always so satisfying. Just thank your younger self for not trying to get back together with that dumpster fire. Otherwise, that may have been you dealing with that bullshit. It is good that you can see the red flags early on, and I hope many younger people will read this and see that they're in a similar situation. To you youngsters out there, pattern recognition is life. And now for today's second story. In 8 years, I've caught her cheating, sexting, and having an emotional affair. I feel trapped. Posted by Reddit user help.
My wife and I have been in couples counseling for about over a year. We have been married 6 and there's always been challengers, but the last couple has gotten worse. In counseling, our therapist, who is great, said my wife has been trying to have me regulate her emotion, and that I am essentially codependent and struggle with a number of self-inflicted kind of mistakes. My wife will often talk about being dismissed because growing up, she says that's how her family was with her, downplaying things she thought were serious, making her feel not seen or heard. We have 2 kids, 2 and 5. My wife also is trying to start a business we have significant money on and is also very stressful, including her parents being involved. We've had many blow-ups where something will happen, my wife will begin getting upset fairly fast, and tell me what I did or am doing, and often it's something of a misunderstanding and I try to let her know, "Oh, I'm not wanting you to do that," or something like that. Of course, there's times I forget to clean dishes or fold laundry, and for a while, we were doing great with that stuff, but both our schedules now have been much busier. Our kids are often just difficult as kids can be. Recently she got upset and thought I was demanding she make a grocery list. I tried to explain I just had some questions because I was trying to make one and just saying that escalated, and we had a day of arguing and her telling me how I don't see or hear her, how I only treat her as a maid, a paycheck, and a number of things. I apologized for my part a lot, took accountability for my failures, and committed to growing and getting better. Even now, I feel like I'm doing wrong in how I'm describing it and blaming her. She says she's grown and changed for how I demanded, but I can't give her her basic needs. I spend a lot of time home with the children as her work schedule is different, and she's also been spending a lot of time with friends, even into the early hours. I am supportive of her desire to be social and haven't asked her not to go out or anything whenever she's asked or just brought it up. This week I've been on a trip my brother arranged and that she urged me to go and insisted I go on. It's been fine until today. She had a fight with her parents, and then after I started getting texts from her angry because I didn't do enough laundry before I left and forgot to clean the bathroom. Previously she said not to worry about getting all the laundry before leaving. I can't focus on the event with my brother now, and she said I'll probably blame her. I don't want to blame her. I just don't know what else to think and feel other than despair and hopelessness. Text turned into the discussion that she doesn't think I can change and she deserves better. She now doesn't want to do couples therapy and wants us to do therapy separately. I don't even know what to start with a therapist, because I'm genuinely confused a lot with our conversations, because often she'll bring up so many different incidents and issues she feels a certain way about, and as I'm processing one she's on another. I'm not trying to blame her. I don't want her ever to feel bad because of me or unfulfilled or seen or heard. I don't want her to feel dismissed or any of those things, and now I don't even know how to get help from a therapist because describing all of this is difficult, and I'm not sure something else isn't going on either. And even thinking that makes me feel like I'm a jerk or idiot and I'm the problem and can't see it. What do I tell a therapist? What do I start with in working on myself? Please help. Now for OP's first update. I became aware that since at least the beginning of December, my wife has been having multiple calls with an ex-boyfriend, and recently when I was on the out-of-time trip, had a meet-up with her and our kids at a museum while I was gone. She claims another friend bailed and she needed someone to help with the kids. My daughter kept insisting only he was there, even though my wife originally insisted it was a group of friends. After confronting and knowing the truth, she admitted and lied, and I had to catch her in another lie. This isn't the first time a bomb has been dropped on me. When we were dating, I was coming out of an extremely unsafe relationship I had to escape, and told her I wasn't sure about marriage again or for a while. A few months later I caught wind of her seeing other guys when we were still an exclusive dating couple. I saw sex and other things, and then multiple guys messaged me on Facebook to tell me about it, and each told me she lied to them about getting pregnant and having an abortion. A month into dating, she said she got pregnant, but it could be another guy she was with right before we met. She said he threatened self-harm if she didn't abort, so she did. It took a lot of calling her out to actually get any truth, and she still denies some things like I saw some sexting and whatnot happen before the period she blames. Fast forward to last year, I found out she was flirting with some guy on Snap and sending pics and stuff while she was out of a town, same one she sent to me. She said it was because she was traumatized from her grandfather just passing. I probably sound like a fucking loser and I don't know what to do. I have a weird feeling that what I just found out isn't the end of it. She got emotional and said his friendship means the world to her because he and her went through some traumatic things, which he apologized for. So, talk to a therapist. She says she's been talking to him so much now to get advice. I just really have no way of proving anything else and just want my kids to be safe, and not in a situation where their mother is making bad choices because she's keeping secrets. Yes, my feelings are hurt and I am sad, but I don't know how to find out what more has been going on, since finding out is the only way to shine light on it and move on. And now, for OP's second update. When my wife and I were dating, I was coming out of an abusive relationship where my very life was threatened multiple times. At some point I communicated I wasn't sure about marriage. Sometime later I discovered multiple men she was talking to, and at least 2 she had sex with in that time. She claimed it was because I said that about marriage, but even then, we understood to only be seeing each other. She also lied and lied about each thing, and I had to uncover each lie to get honesty. We got through that, and fast-forwarded 7 years this past summer, and I discovered she had been Snapchatting and texting some other man, sexy photos and whatnot. She said this was after her grandfather died and she was just blah blah blah. Cut to this weekend, it came out she's been having lots and lots and lots of phone time with an ex. She said he called her months ago, apologizing as part of his recovery process, and that he happened to start dating her friend. When I was out of town recently, he met up with her and our kids at a museum. She says he's been just talking as friends for almost 30 minutes a day over the last 2 months. Her parents know and are pissed at her because I had to confide with them to figure out if the museum thing was true. Our 5-year-old said something and she couldn't deny it anymore. We have kids, a business we are starting. I don't know how I can trust her and feel like an idiot. I'm made to feel like an asshole if I can't trust her, and I feel like she's picked fights or assuage her guilt, and sometimes come home after either seeing someone or just talking to him a lot and been extra nice to also not feel guilty. I feel trapped, my kids and I can't afford anywhere on our own because of this economy and all the other bullshit. We have a couples counselor who she said she didn't want to see anymore. The counselor met with me and I described some of this and she was supportive, and we might have another sessions with my wife. I feel like I want to unload my anger on her a lot, but can't see how that would be productive. I just want the fucking truth. I can't get her phone to spy on it, and at this point, it's the only way to prove this stuff where she can't admit it. I'm a decent man, I try to be anyway. I work hard, put her before myself, am a generous lover, supportive of her career goals, etc. Certainly not perfect and have my faults, but I feel like so many puzzle pieces add up to lots of shady shit.
OP, your wife seems to fall into the narcissistic asshole cheater category. You can't change her, man. The only way you can stop her from lying to you and cheating on you is if you break up with her and go no contact. But we all know you don't have the balls for that. Because if you did, you would have dumped her whore ass the first time she cheated. But you didn't, and that's the way it is. So either accept that this is your life now, or you can gray rock her until you can safely get out financially. Also, for the love of Jesus Christ, don't go into business with her, you damn donut. Viewer support is the best way for me to remain independent and continue bringing you these daily videos, which will always be here on my channels for you to watch absolutely free. So please consider subscribing to me on Rumble and on YouTube. Both will be linked in the description box down below. Thanks for listening, everyone. If you even somewhat enjoyed today's story, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and if you really like it, consider subscribing to PattSun to never miss a future upload. Stay strong.